Welcome to another AP Human Geography topic walkthrough, brought to you by Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is here to help you fill out your lecture notes, understand the big ideas, and maybe even laugh once or twice. So grab your notes and let's get started.
All right, fam, strap in. Today we're zooming way out of the city and straight into the countryside. Yep, it's time to talk settlement patterns and survey methods. Sound boring? Oh, just wait. We're talking why some rural communities look like cozy villager squads in Minecraft, and others look like someone rage quit SimCity halfway through. Plus, we'll see how centuries-old land slicing systems still shape how farms and fields are divided today. Meets and bounds, anyone? Township and range, long lot. They're basically the OG real estate hacks. But first, let's get clear on what we're actually supposed to learn here. So here's what we're actually trying to do today. We're becoming rural land use detectives. Our mission? Spot the different types of rural settlement patterns and figure out how people divided up land before Google Maps was even a concept. There are three major vibes when it comes to rural settlements. Clustered, where everyone lives in a cozy clump. Think village core energy. Dispersed, where folks are living their best, leave me alone lives spread across the countryside. And linear, which is basically people lining their houses up along rivers or roads like it's a parade. But wait, there's more. The land itself isn't just there. It had to be measured, marked, and sometimes argued over. That's where survey methods come in, including one that literally starts at a tree and ends at your barn. Let's start with the most chaotic and old school of the bunch, meets and bounds. Let's talk about the ultimate vibes-based way to divide land. Meets and bounds. This method came from the British and said, "We don't need rulers or grids. We've got trees, creeks, and random barns." Here's how it worked. You'd describe your land using natural landmarks like, from that weird-looking rock, walk 100 paces north until you hit the cow pasture. Super precise, right? Totally foolproof. This system made sense when you knew everyone in town, and that one hill was literally called Old Man Jenkins' Lump. But over time, it led to irregular plots that looked like someone cut the land with safety scissors. If you peek at that satellite image, that's meets and bounds in action. A patchwork of chaos that's charming. Until you try to build a driveway. But what if we told you there was a survey system that was actually fair on purpose? Like built to make sure everyone got a slice of the river pie? Say bonjour to the long lot method. Ah, yes, the long lot method. The overachiever of land division systems. This one's all about equality. Brought over by the French and Spanish, long lot design gives every landowner a tall, skinny slice of property stretching back from a river or road, like agricultural pizza slices. Why? Because back then, access to water was everything. You needed it to drink, to grow stuff, and to actually get your crops to market. No water access meant you were basically farming for your own disappointment. Just look at that image. Everyone's got their neat little strip, running straight back from the river like a perfectly divided loaf of land bread. Honestly, it's giving organized chaos, but make it practical. But not everyone was here for skinny land aesthetics. America went full geometry core thanks to a guy named Thomas Jefferson. Let's break out the grid. Now we're entering Thomas Jefferson's spreadsheet era. He wanted land division to be clean, rational, and extremely rectangular, and thus, township and range was born. Here's the deal. The U.S. government created this grid system to help track land sales and standardize ownership. Each township is 6 miles by 6 miles, then divided into 36 sections, each one 1 square mile. That's 640 acres per section. Basically, it's real estate by the numbers. Peep that image. It's giving perfect rectangles until a river shows up and says, LOL, I do what I want. But despite those curvy interruptions, this method helped organize land fast as settlers moved west. Don't get it twisted. Not everyone was out here living solo on the prairie grid. Some folks stayed close, like really close. Let's check out the human hive life of clustered settlements. Clustered settlement patterns were all about the group chat energy. People built their homes close together, often around a church, market, or just because it made walking to dinner easier. In the image, you can see how buildings are packed into one tight little core, with open farmland surrounding them. That's the classic clustered vibe. Village in the middle, work on the outside. Instead of living on your land, you walked to it. These communities shared resources, leaned on each other and formed tight bonds. Think cozy teamwork, not lone wolf farmers. This setup was super common in Europe and often matched with the meets and bounds method, where land followed natural features instead of rigid lines. But what if you didn't want the group chat? What if you wanted distance, like neighbors 2 miles away kinda distance? That's where dispersed settlements come in. Imagine you live on a farm, but your closest neighbor is like a mile away. That's a dispersed rural settlement. Homes are scattered across the landscape, totally doing their own thing. Why? Because the US government was like, yo, here's 160 acres. Just promise you'll farm it. So people spread out, claim their land, and boom, instant social distancing, 1800 style. Check out the image. That's not a neighborhood, that's one house. Then fields, then maybe another house way over there. This setup reflects values like independence and land ownership. And it's all organized using township and range, the ultimate grid system for farmers who wanted elbow room. Next up, let's straighten things out with a pattern that follows the line, literally. So, picture this. Instead of being out in the middle of nowhere like the dispersed folks, these houses are in formation, like they're doing a conga line across the countryside. That's a linear settlement. Everything's lined up along a road, river, or some other path. Like, hey neighbor, I see you, in a straight line, forever. Check out the image. One road, houses stacked along it and behind each one. Long, skinny strips of farmland stretching out like taffy. That's called the long lot survey method. And it was basically designed so everyone could be close to the road or water and still grow crops like a pro. And here's where it gets deep. All these patterns, they leave marks, literal marks on the land. So let's talk about how people shape the world, and how the past doesn't always stay buried. Okay, we've looked at all these settlement patterns, clustered, linear, dispersed, and how people slice up land like it's a giant pizza. But why does any of this even matter? Here's the big question. What is the point? What's the why of where? This is where it all comes together. We're not just memorizing patterns. We're figuring out how humans leave their fingerprints on the land. It's about two things: impact on the cultural landscape, how the way people settle actually changes the land, and sequent occupancy, how different groups move in one after another, each layering their own vibe on top of what was there before. So yeah, it's not just where stuff is, it's why it got there, and what it says about us. Okay, let's lock it in. Rural settlement patterns? We've got 3: dispersed, clustered, and linear. Each one tells a story about how people claim land, organize space, and interact with their environment. Throw in survey methods like township and range and long lot, and now you're seeing the blueprint behind the patterns. This isn't just where people live, it's the why of where. And now that we've recapped the big ideas, it's time to put your thinking to the test. Let's see if you can apply what you've learned. And now that your brain's warmed up, let's see what you can actually do with all that knowledge. You made it through the patterns, the grids, the survey chaos. Now it's time to prove you're not just nodding along. Here's your challenge. How do different rural settlement patterns reflect the cultural values or land use priorities of the people who created them? Drop your answer in the comments and back it up with examples. And don't forget to add your name for that bonus point. Go ahead, flex that geo brain. You earned it.